Oh, guess you missed it, bro. Sino did the snap. We did the snap surfing this week. I was making dinner for my daughter, and I was putting butter on the toast, and I was like, "See, every time I open this soft butter on the and spread it on the bread, I think about Sino and Guess. Who told me to say that? The whole chat was just like,
he said, every time I think of hot butter on a plate, I think of you and Guess. I said, what the? I'm uncomfortable. I want to file this complaint with human resources, bro.
I'm so glad that after a year of doing this, all of the moments we've had, that's what sticks to you.
What's going on, everybody? And welcome to the Marvel Snapcast episode 88. Let's go. We got crazy things to talk about today. It's going to be a real entertaining one. We got Bullseye review, Aries preview, the ban in US, the current meta state, Snap's future in our thoughts, and the Crown's due date. All right. And of course, you're here with your co-host, the top 5 best snappers in the world. Sino. Because we snap that hot fire, you heard? And we all rep that power on all day. And of course, I'm here with your other co-host,
the one and only, the SuperTechGod, the gentleman with every variant in the game. That was a great intro. Great job, Sino. Look at you. Look at you.
And of course,
you've been here for a couple weeks. Co-host. And now look at you. And of course, our other co-hosts.
See, it was such a great intro. First off, Sino, that is how you start a podcast, a stream, whatever. Absolutely fantastic. Wow. You know, I hope the audience really appreciated you on that. Yeah, you have officially replaced Ken. So thank you so much. Because if you notice, Ken still did a Ken. You're doing your intro. You're trying to lead me in, and the man won't shut the fuck up.
Oh my gosh. Okay, go ahead. You guys do your thing. I'm just gonna sit in the background.
Hi, it's Mr. Second Dinner here, also known as It's Guest Gaming. I might as well adopt the name at this point, so just kind of go with it. But either way, we needless to say, it's been a week. I mean, we contemplated doing an emergency episode of the podcast on Sunday.
Absolutely.
No joke. We contemplated it, and I was like, hold on. Yeah. Let's let this sit. Let's let this marinate a little bit, because there's a lot of information that's going to come on out, you know, timing. We'll see what happens. So that way we can talk about it in full today. And I want to open with the ByteDance fiasco.
There was a lot of PTSD, a lot of panicking going on these last week. So it's been entertaining.
And for sure.
Nerve-wracking.
Yeah, and I think, like I said, you know, spoke about it. I was kind of one like, hey guys, let's do this. And Guessacino was like, calm the fuck down. And that's exactly what they said to me. Right. Like, you know what I mean? So, but I just wanted to dive into it, like talk about it a little bit. We're going to talk about it a little bit right now. So the ban came down. TikTok, ByteDance, and all their wonderful apps from the App Store that they publish were removed by ByteDance, I would assume. I don't think it was the government. The government did have a law in place that wanted to ban them. Of course, Biden said we wasn't going to do anything. We're waiting for Trump administration. Trump said, I'm going to give them some extra time to get purchased by a U.S. company. And ByteDance was like, F all that. You guys didn't change shit. You guys ain't really saying what y'all want. So we're going to take our apps down. And what sucked was Snap was part of that. Going into it, we cared, but we didn't really care that much about TikTok. The fact that Snap got taken down was kind of crazy.
You caught a stray. As soon as you were like, he said, everybody, you laughed at everybody who was doing that TikTok shit. And you were like, and then boom, you were like, whoa, chill.
Wait a minute.
Why you calling for? Like, let's hold on. Like, nah, bro. I couldn't believe it. I was totally shocked.
And then in 8 hours later, TikTok was unbanned and ready to go back full force. All thanks to the new president-elect. But Snap and the others were still down. Snap did make a statement. They dove into a lot of cool things. But before we get into that, I'll let guests talk about the conclusion of what happened. So, how'd you feel about the ban? Where were you at? What was your mindset when it went down?
I was shocked. I couldn't believe it, honestly, because it caught me. It caught me off guard because I didn't think it was wrapped up into all this. So that was definitely wow. For a second there, I remember talking to STG. I was like, wait a minute, this might be really bad. Like this could be really bad for Snap.
Yeah.
The people who were already at that breaking point might just now say, you know what? This is it. I can't do this anymore and just uninstall. You know what I mean? What I felt like it did, what I feel like the bigger percentage did was it gave you that break to actually want to miss it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like a lot of people were like, oh, panicking. And then, it actually brought them back to the game. They were like, wait a minute. Like, as soon as it came back, they were like, okay, I'm back on Snap. You know what I mean? And it just gave it that same popularity that I think it had when it first launched. And I remember hearing Dexter say that he thinks that Snap is being talked about more. Snap is being talked about just as much now as it was when launch came out. And I think it was actually kind of good for it. You know what I mean? Like it brought back that freshness because it made you miss it. It made you want it more. You know what I mean? Everybody wants what they can't have, baby. Everybody wants what they can't have. And as soon as it got banned, they were like, wait a minute, you took my toy away from me? Nah, you wildin'. And then when it came back, it just brought that freshness back. Now I feel like more people are coming back to Snap and they're playing.
Yeah, bad publicity is always good publicity at some point, right? Sometimes
it could be. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it ain't. But I think this just kind of had a reverse effect. And what I thought it was gonna do, and I'm sure it did for some people. I'm sure some people were just like, I can't take it and dipped. But I think a majority of people were just like, whoa, okay. I can't play it. I want to play it. Oh, and then it came back and they were like, oh, yes. And they got them endorphins. They got that feeling, that fresh feeling back. Mm-hmm.
My cousin did reach out to me. I'm put him on blast. He's like, oh, this is bad. I'm not playing the game anymore, blah, blah, blah. But when it came back up, he was like, oh, yeah,
first one there,
I'm at 77. I'm trying to get to infinite. I'm like, oh, my little brother had called me. He was like, bro, why didn't you tell me about this? I'm like, yeah, my bad. You got to use a VPN if you really want to play. He's like, yeah, I know about VPNs. I got this. And he loaded up a VPN. He still plays Snap. So you had those people too who knew about the VPN based on Ben's tweet. And it was like, yeah, I'm playing it still because they knew how to do it on the VPN. But nonetheless, there's a lot of things that go with it. And, you guys heard what I had to say on my stream when we spoke about it. Guess I'm going to let you tell me your thoughts and, of course, dive into what the conclusion was of the ban.
Well, it was an interesting weekend, to say the least, because, okay, I need to preface what I'm going to say first and foremost with I am intentionally speaking in a very shaded way, because one of the things that I'm honored to be able to say over the last couple of years of getting to know so many different people who are a part of ByteDance, so many people who are part of specifically Newverse and Second Dinner. As all of this went down, I've reached out to everybody I knew in the companies, and I was like, I hope you guys are okay, because this is absolute madness, and it's going to completely cause chaos. Like, especially Griffin, the community manager on the Second Dinner side, like, I know he caught nothing but flack, to say the least, of like, why is the game shut down in the States? There's a couple of things that I want to put out there into the world about what happened and clarify, because there's a lot of fake news going on about the whole situation of what happened with Second Dinner, Newverse, and ByteDance. Okay. First off,
fake news?
Oh, straight up fake news. Straight up fake news. Yeah, Reddit, don't even go on Reddit, because people have no idea what they're talking about. Okay. I'm going to take information that's publicly available and factual information that I can talk about and explain a couple of things here. Okay. Number one, Marvel Snap is developed, also known as built and created, by Second Dinner. The company that helps to get it out to the world is the publisher. That's Newverse. They have different roles operating Marvel Snap. They work together very often. So some people know the name Infinite Veritas. Some people know the name Griffin. Both of them are community managers. Infinite Veritas is over on the Newverse side. Matthias is on the Newverse side. Ultra Sky is on the Newverse side. And then you've also got Griffin over on the Second Dinner side. Molly's on the Second Dinner side as well. Okay. So from a community manager standpoint, just to get a couple of names separated and orchestrated and explained. I had conversations with them, conversations with some other people just about like, you know, what's going on, et cetera, trying to find out information.
Right.
Long story short, ByteDance, who's the company that owns Nuverse. Okay, they're one of the companies that ByteDance owns. ByteDance told Nuverse, the TikTok thing will not affect your servers. Nuverse then told its partner, the developers of Second Dinner, hey, this is not going to affect Marvel Snap.
Okay.
When the TikTok thing happened and Marvel Snap went down, this was a surprise to both Second Dinner and Nuverse. Because Second Dinner, because Second Dinner only really talks to Nuverse. They don't really deal directly above with ByteDance that much. They do, but not in any like regular everyday capacity like you do the publisher. They're just the company that owns the publisher.
Right.
ByteDance disconnected all servers, which is why Marvel Snap went down, CapCut went down, Lemonade went down, a whole bunch of different apps and services all went down because
right there for 1 second.
Yeah.
As guest just said, ByteDance, right? Not the government. I want to make sure that's clear too.
Yeah, no.
The government, this, no.
No.
ByteDance themselves. Correct. Go ahead, continue. Sorry.
They proactively pulled their servers because they felt that the U.S. was not going to be effectively holding up their proper end of the deal orchestration that they were whatever debating or negotiating about the whole TikTok thing specifically. So ByteDance pulled all of its services just because it was, for whatever reason, the decision they made. They could have disconnected TikTok only. For some reason, they pulled all of their servers, which is what surprised Nuverse and Second Dinner and all of us at the same time. So when that happened, you know, all the conversation happening about, you know, waiting for, you know, like the game to come back up, whether it's the service, whatever, both Second Dinner and Nuverse were working literally like the hours that I saw people up and online, I can say confidently just from looking at Discord and seeing when people replied to messages of mine, they were working 24/7 around the clock. Not even kidding. Like they were doing everything they possibly could at all possible hours to figure out how to get the game back up. As we saw in the public messages, the big gun came out to make an official announcement about everything that was happening. Because I don't think we haven't seen Ben Brode talk in Discord or make a message on behalf of the company in a written format in over a year and probably more at this point. He'll do the developer, you know, monthly season pass videos, but like we don't get DMs and Discord messages and announcements. That doesn't come from Ben. It comes from the team. So when he comes forward and makes a public statement saying, hey, we got this, you know, we're working on this X, Y, and Z, we got it back up, etc. And then they say that they're going to be changing their publisher. That's a big deal of news because that means the relationship with Nuverse was damaged due to Daddy, right? Due to ByteDance. So Second Dinner clearly doesn't want that to happen again. So they're working with / looking for a partnership relationship, dual publishing, self-publishing with somebody else in coordination, like some combination of them having more publishing control with another company that will help implement that for them. That's what we know to be true. Nuverse's relationship with Second Dinner is still good and strong for the teams that have been working together.
Right.
But any of the conversation that you're hearing about Nuverse leaving because Second Dinner wants to be able to build the game that they want, or to build draft mode officially because Nuverse was holding them back, or any of these other things that Nuverse was restrictive in that manner, is 100% false. The reason that Marvel Snap is going to be distributed by Second Dinner and another company rather than Nuverse, the reason it is being done in that way is to prevent this relationship with ByteDance from affecting Marvel Snap again in the future. It is exclusively due to that. I can tell you that from experience because literally up until 2 hours before it went down, I was in conversation for 3 different projects with Nuverse actively. about things happening in the first 6 months of this year for projects to me to be a part of as a content creator. Okay, including one, if all goes well, will be happening on this upcoming Tuesday. So
fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. I'll find out officially by the time you probably hear this podcast. So
there we go.
I'm not even kidding. And I've been constantly in those conversations to talk about like what's going on. And then that bomb dropped of like, wait, the relationship is changing. So you have to remember what Newverse has done from the community standpoint, like the stuff that you see as a user. Newverse did the creator gauntlet, right? They're the ones who orchestrated that with Tribe. They're the ones who helped put that all together, finance it, put it out there into the world. Newverse orchestrates all of that stuff. Online promotions in the shop and the shop itself, owned and operated by Newverse. 100%. Exactly. Any community event that you've seen that involves the creators on their Twitch channels, Newverse. All the YouTube content that has gone on involving creators, like Ken, you've done videos as well for different character releases, like all of that. Newverse. We deal with Newverse on all of those projects. Now, that's not to say that Second Dinner doesn't do them. Like I was a part of the dev roadmap video in whatever that was, November, I think, right? It's a blur at this point,
cool.
But whatever that announcement was, when that video happened, I worked with Second Dinner specifically to make that happen. So it's not that they don't do that stuff, but a lot of it is orchestrated and created and produced by the publisher. Second Dinner is going to be taking on a bunch of those responsibilities now, including active projects. So it's a transfer more than anything else that's happening right now as they move out there. If you go on, it's again, taking public knowledge, go on LinkedIn right now. You'll see that they're looking for a director of growth at Second Dinner. Clearly, they want someone to help do that. Or I'm not that guy. I'm just going to tell you that right off the bat. I know you see no. Stop it right now. That's not the Mr. I'm not that Mr. Second Dinner. Let me put that shit. Let me put that shit to bed. No.
It sounded like you were.
I don't got no MBA. All right. I'm 6'5". I'm closer to NBA than anything else. All right. No, I don't got that shit.
I'm just saying, it sounded like you.
No. I will reiterate my life mantra here. I don't know everything. I just know a little bit of a lot. Right. So in this case, I'm lucky to say I know a little bit of a lot about what's going on here. There's a lot of fake reports happening that the relationship is changing due to these reasons. It's not. It's a publishing issue exclusively. Otherwise, the relationship with Newverse, if this didn't happen, nothing would have changed between Newverse and Second Dinner.
Right.
Let's be really clear. That's obvious based on how the relationship was going. If it was to change, it would be way further down the road than the way it happened. They may have expedited a plan potentially to do something of this nature if it was in the works, because, I mean, clearly they had to do that. But there's one last piece I want to iterate on this, which is incredibly important, which is why the game is still down. OK, the game is still. And when I say down, I'm talking about not available in the app stores. OK, when you put a game up into an app store to be produced, this is just the process you go through with Google, the process you go through with the Apple Store. If you've developed an app, you also can confirm this. And if you've done any of that or been a part of that in the comments, confirm down below. If you put up a game to be put into the App Store, it can take up to 30 days for it to be approved. It goes to review. It has to get. But here's the thing. Taking down an app and putting an app back up in its same condition, not an issue. So what's the issue here? The issue, no, not at all. The issue is that the registered publisher from the game, as they're putting it back up in the game, is no longer Newverse. It's a new publisher, right? It's Second Dinner and Team. So because it's a new publisher, it has to go through the reapprovals. That is what happens whenever you publish a new game or you make a dramatic change. Like, oh my God, wait, hang on. What was that Tim Allen TV show where it was on like ABC and then it moved to Fox? No, later. No, wait. ABC and then went to Fox. He got canceled for saying some weird ass shit. And then it got brought on again to Fox. This is that type of, they'll tell us in the comments, but this is that same scenario. It's the same production, but it's now being distributed by somebody else. And because of that, you have to. You have to put it out that way. But a lot of people don't think about it that way. That's what the holdup is.
You have to look at also when people get their books published, it's not the author at time that's publishing a book. It is a actual company.
A publisher.
And think about it like that when it comes to books. Think about that for games, right? Some game developers aren't big enough, so they have publishers that go out and push their games for them. In this case, the reason why I mentioned China was because apps like TikTok and all the other ones from ByteDance are no longer on the App Store either. That's why if you guys go to eBay right now, you can sell your phone with TikTok app for millions of dollars, thousands of dollars, because
that's still good enough.
Apple, especially Apple, is not allowing any of ByteDance apps back in the shop until a U.S. company purchases them. So that's happening. To go on top of what Guest was saying in regards to the timeline it takes to put an app in the store, I've developed and uploaded apps and also done apps for clients. And yes, it takes up to 30 days. So, if you remember, one of the first apps I did was That's Bananas way back in the day. That for the App Store. And that's when I first learned about the process. We also did Prayer Catch for my religious people. We've done that too. So we've done some apps and it does take some time. So for people to understand, it's not just a click of a button. So when you guys see TikTok is working, that's a server thing. We could talk about servers too, as to why Second Dinner had to work around the clock, because when it comes to migrating servers and moving things from one cloud to the other, it is a process. You need all hands on deck. And you have to test, confirm. There's a chain that you have to go up and make sure, quality check. So shout out to Second Dinner and their team for getting the services back up as quickly as they did, because I'm telling you guys, it could have been way worse. Now, with all that being said, and I'm happy Guest said what he said.
Hold on. Should we put a stamp on that? Hold on. So it should be like a message from the Second Dinner Employees of the Month. No, stop. Put something like
Guest
that.
Hit it right on target. Bullseye, which we're going to go into the next topic.
Oh, look at that segue. Oh, that was sexy. That was sexy.
There it is. Bullseye, the card that a lot of people were so excited for, especially all the discard lovers. We're so pumped for Bullseye. I definitely read this card incorrectly. As some of you guys know, I like to read the way I like to read. Bullseye is an activate card that will inflict -2 damage for every 1 or lower cost card in your hand. So in my mind, when I tested out the card, I felt very underwhelmed because I had a handful of swarms and my opponent had 3 cards on the field. I said, all right, activate. Let's go ahead. We won the game, yes. But I assumed he's going to take all those swarms and hit those cards more than once with -2 power. To see the swarms in my hand, look at me and smile, and just -2, 4, 6 on my opponent's side, I said, what is this? What is this foolishness? This is not what I understand this card to do. So, guys, reading is fundamental. Also is understanding, okay? Because I think the majority of the community thought what I thought, why they were so excited for this wonderful card. And yes, this card is a gold to me. It is a gold because it's great in discard. I did some cool things with Hella with it, 70% win rate. And, those win rates are funny because everybody's playing the same cards. Mm-hmm. Everybody's doing the same thing right now. We'll see how good the card is in a week or two. But for me, I'm giving it a gold. Go ahead, Guest. Say your piece. How you feel about Bullseye?
I just need to ask you a question first. Do you think a penthouse has 5 walls?
No.
Okay, so you aren't that dumb.
No, of course not. So what's the problem?
Got it. Okay, so I just don't. I got to be careful with, as we learned, you got to be careful where you put your hand up on a screen in the future.
I don't know you waving his hand, sir.
Unless you're giving me a high five or saying
unless you say
it
from your heart.
With Zillman.
If you say it from your heart, keep it here. Keep it here.
Yeah, keep it there. Don't go that way.
There we go.
Stay there.
Oh, my heart's over there. See, I'm bugging.
Yeah, you don't know where you're
and throw that shit down. No, but for real. Yeah. Okay, so it worked exactly how I read it because English. And when I saw the card, I was like, okay, there's some cool things, I guess. Maybe we can try this. And I wasn't really thrilled going into playing the card. So I built a couple of different variations, as you must do. There's this obligatory thing as a content creator. OK, it's a discard card. Got it. Duh. We're going to build some kind of a discard deck. Right. Cool. Awesome. But then, oh, wait, no, it's a 3-cost card. All right. We're going to try to build some kind of surfer deck automatically. We'll do that. And then, all right, well, it hits -2. Maybe we'll build an affliction deck also. So just like hit the 3 major archetypes that very clearly jump out to you when you see this card. Therefore, you would expect it to be the 3 potentially best archetypes for this card.
Yes.
No. Just no. Just no. Like this card is just a no.
Exactly.
It is just a no for a variety of reasons. Okay. I think of it like this, right? We have in this world a copycat, which is a 3/5, right?
Yeah.
No downside. No, just as is. It's a 3/5 and then always adds on something else to it. Good stat line adds on something else to it. I can play that on turn 6. I've now got a Bullseye at 3/3 that if I want to get it to 3/5, I have to have it down on the board before turn 6. And I have to have a 1-cost or lower card in my hand to get one of those to happen and now match up to just the base value of Copycat. Yet alone, if I do the whole swarming thing, and even if my opponent has a full board on the other side, the only time this card does what you want it to truly do is if you have a MODOK full of swarms into a Bullseye full of swarms situation. That is the only way you get this card to do the thing. And then when you do the thing, you still feel like, all right.
That was funny, my bad. And then when you do the thing, it's not. Yeah, I agree with you.
You're sitting there going, why? Why did I work this hard? Like,
why did I get this? Yeah, I agree.
I sent Sino my first gameplay with this card on my phone. It was Wong. I had Mobius, Collector, Wong, and MODOK.
Morbius. Right?
Mobius. Sorry, Mobius. Yeah, Mobius. Yeah, Mobius.
Nope, still wrong.
Morbius.
The 2-cost or the 3-cost?
The 2 costs. Morbius.
Morbius. Got it. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Morbius, Collector, Bullseye, Wong, MODOK. Okay. Those are the cards I had on the field. And swarms in my hand. And I just let it rip. Sent it to Cena. I was like, what madness is this? 4 cards, that's it. So you're right. You do all that work. And then it does the thing. And you're like, I'm sorry. What was the point of this? Well, it's like, when you guys go and it's
underwhelming.
I'm not going to get into it.
It's a tool. It's a tool to have in your list, in your discard list, or in your toxic list. It's not anything that takes spotlight or controls a game, but it's a cool little tool. The problem is, I don't know if you want to play that at a 3. You know what I mean?
Bingo.
I don't know. That's not something. I don't want something mid on turn 3. Something mid on turn 1 or 2, no problem. But something mid on turn 3 is just not appealing to me.
I think you guys would think about like using Colleen Wing with it, right? So play it on turn 5. So Colleen Wing to discard your swarm or your scorn, and then you put him down on turn 5. I don't think it should be played on turn 3 because of Red Guardian, and it's a waste of your turn 3. Turn 3 should be your other cards, whether you want to play anything else. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna get to it. Say what you gotta say, man.
Yeah.
What'd you give it?
I gave it you know what? I'm gonna go with my initial instinct. I'm gonna go double silver because I'm just not too into this card. I wanted to say gold. I said gold on Snap Surfing, and then but I wasn't fond of it then either. I don't like this card. I'm gonna go double silver.
I guess. How do you feel about it? What's your rating?
It has the potential, like mechanically. It's a cool mechanic, right? It has the potential to be better, but it is awful in cost and targeting, right? It's like if you tweak the number, because got to think about it. There's a lot of different numbers that they can adjust on this card. They can adjust the power. They can adjust the cost. They can adjust the target cost of the card in your hand and how much the affliction happens per card that it hits on your opponent's side. There's 4 different dials. to screw with on this card. This card will be good for discard in the future because there's no way in hell this is the final version of this card. As it is, it's a silver card because you absolutely don't need it. Don't use your tokens on it. But I can definitely foresee the day they make this card relevant for discard by doing one of several different things. Like I could see them lowering the cost on this, bring this down to either a 2/2 or bring this down to what I think would be the most exciting, which is a 1/0. A 1/0 would be so exciting for this card.
I think it makes the rating goes up to gold to double gold if it goes down in cost, in my opinion. Like I agree with you guys.
Yeah, 100%. But the better solution to this card, in my opinion, is instead of doing that, if you're going to need to leave it at 3 cost, you have to let it target cards that cost 2 or less. So that way it can hit the swarm right away. That's what you need it to do, because the fact that it can't hit the number 1 card you want it to hit, swarm, it makes it that's killer. It's absolutely killer. It's an absolute killer. So
you give it some significance if you do that. You know, I agree with you 100%.
Or make it like Gambit. Make it like Gambit. Any card in your hand. Then you take this card to a whole nother level. Then you don't be that random.
If it hits every card, it's a better MODOK. It can't be stronger than MODOK. It can't.
I didn't say every card. I'm just saying only X amount of cards and based on what's in your hand, right? So 3 cards or 4 cards, give -3 and pick 3 cards out of your hand. Something like that. I was saying more so like that.
Gotcha.
This way, it's a bit different. You know, you give it more affliction, and of course now you can discard other cards like APOC and you know Proxima, etc.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. You're right. I think you guys are right. Make it a lower cost. I think it'd be in a way better atmosphere for it. I mean, that was the only thing. Getting an extra copy of it might be the better thing because again, you're giving -4 now. But like I said, I'd rather play the hella list I went to Infinite with, which is Hazmat and Grandmaster, and use Hazmat twice and then drop, you know, Gore and freaking Ajax. Like, I mean, it's just crazy, man. It's just bananas. But speaking of that, shout out to you guests and Dance for the last podcast when you guys convinced me that hella is better. And I took hella to Infinite from the 90s because I love it now. I made an Affliction hella deck and I love it now. It was phenomenal. I must say, guys, hella is the true goddess of war. And speaking of goddesses or god of war, we have the next week's card, which is Aries, the original.
Wow,
he's on top of it today.
You are batting 1,000 on the transition. That is what happens when we take him away from introductions and we put him into transitions.
It's one less ball in the air to juggle, you know, like
I get it.
Balls in the air. Okay, I quit. I
pause. No. Juggling. We don't juggle balls on this podcast. Thank you very much. So Aries, he's what I consider the best card this season. And a lot of people look at me like I'm crazy when I say that.
We do that anyway.
And but listen, guys, I mean, let's be real. I think Aries, with his stat line, being a 4-cost card and being able to get to 12 power, I think is one of the best things on the planet. Now, for those who don't know, Aries is a 4/6, and this phenomenal card, guys, will double in power once it looks at both of the top 3 cards of each person's card list, and if you have the highest, if the total is the highest, sorry.
Okay, stop.
If your total is the highest and your opponent's, move from the top.
See, we complimented him too early, but before you try again, I just had a major revelation about you, Mr. SuperTechGod. I just had a major revelation.
Revelations.
Yes, I did. And especially the audio listeners.
It took a year.
You're going to be able to hear this from here on out. And Sino, you've known him for how long now?
Since
he knows. Sino knows my real name. Where guests just found out my real name from LinkedIn. It was hilarious.
Yeah. So let's put it this way. Okay.
Years. Yeah.
When Ken, also known as SuperTechGod, right? When he talks, he sounds like he was written by AI.
That's a good point. Yes, I agree with that.
It gets robotic. I did say that earlier.
No.
It's earlier. He did say that.
It's the choice of adjectives.
Yes, I love. Yes. Correct.
Not that he has an AI voice. That's different.
No.
But his script in his head was written by Chat GPT.
He speaks like a robot in pieces. It's like I said that. I said, "Yo, bro, why are you speaking like a robot, bro? Tell me what's up." But like,
no, it's not even that. It's just as he goes into the description of this wonderful card. It's like, you know, when you were in high school and you had to write an essay and you had to get to 500 words and you're looking for every possible place to add an adjective.
I did that a lot.
That is how you speak.
So, we'll see if you guys will catch up on that and pay attention to everything I do, like Guest does. I do that when I am bullshitting or fluttering around to do something because I didn't have the card up. So as I'm getting the card up, I'm pulling out all the adjectives out my ass to explain what the card is. And then I remembered that the card does something cool with the 2 decks and the 2 cards and the 3 cards. So I started talking all that foolishness. So the minute I finally got the card up is when I was like, wait a minute, I just said that whole thing incorrectly. So yes, that is correct.
I was sitting here like, what I completely forgot.
So as I'm getting the card up, I gave every adjective in the world to describe this amazing best card.
Wonderful, wonderful card. That's your bullshit word. You have a trigger word. It's wonderful. And now the audience knows whenever he says the word wonderful, he's clicking panically in his computer like, where the hell is the website, man? I can't find it.
I'm not panically. You see, I'm very calm. So people don't know that, right? They don't know that I'm calm making it happen. But when I start talking, if I have to talk and do it at the same time, yes, you guys can tell the difference. So now we have Aries on reveal. Compare the power of the top 3 cards of both decks. If your total is higher than your opponent's, Aries get an additional +6 power. Now, it being a 4/6 on reveal, I think that already makes it ceiling wherever it wants to be because you can buff this card prior to playing it. You can play this card on Wong. You can go ahead and play Grandmaster with this card. You can do so many different things to re-trigger this card to give it an additional 6+ power. I think it is phenomenal. As you guys know, I love Sage. I love the big deck energy. And I think Aries... Pause. Okay, pause. All right, big deck energy, I said. Aries is one of those cards that I think will have some of the best content creator videos and shorts and fun events, but also I think it's going to be very competitive once people put that list together and everybody forgets about Aries in the upcoming week. So for me, this card gets a double platinum, not a diamond, double platinum. Best card of the season goes to Aries. Cena, how do you feel about this card?
I feel like I'm the one that's been sipping, but you're the one that's drunk.
Okay.
That's how I feel. Like,
all right.
I'm not, I think it's a good card. It's a good card. I get what you're saying. I get the stops that you have to pull out to get this card to proc up. I do not like the whole randomness of it. I don't like the maybe of it.
Well, you don't have to make it random if you play
the power of the top 3 cards of both decks. Yes. And if your total is high, like maybe.
Well,
you know what I mean?
You can listen, bro. You can stick your deck pause with a bunch of big cards, and you can also play the list that I despise, which is what's that list called again? I despise Mill. You can play Mill and start taking cards out your opponent deck or throw rocks in there. You know what I mean? So you can really make it less RNG based.
If you on the surface, the rocks will just get placed randomly throughout the cards, correct?
And guess what it might do? It might be the top 3 cards are rocks. So guess what?
Even if one of them's a rock, it's good. You know?
Yes, it's still good. It's a 0 power card.
I'm gonna go double gold. I'm not gonna give it a plat. Let me see how this plays out when it comes out, and then I'll make a more fair.
Yeah, this is the preview. It's the preview.
Yeah,
so
a more fair decision about it. But I'm not sold going right now. So I'm gonna go double gold just because of the appeal. But we'll see.
I guess your thoughts on the Aries.
So we talked a little bit about it, and we've talked a little bit about it in the past. I do think it's going to be an interesting card because I think I would have liked this card to be an on reveal that doubles instead of giving +6. Like I would have preferred this to be a 4/5 that doubles, so that way you can get it to double a second time, kind of like a Beta Ray Bill style effect in that aspect.
Yes.
I would have preferred that, but with the card in its current state, people are going to want, like you said, the content creators are going to want to try to get this to be, epic. They're going to get this ramped out, luck of the draw, get it out on turn 3, and then Grandmaster it on turn 4, and then Odin it on turn 6, and followed by, and then Magic as well. And then you can throw in, just for the fuck of it, you throw an Absorbing Man and get it to happen again on turn 7. Like, you get these crazy numbers because that's what content creators do.
Some shit.
Yes.
But on the opposite end of that, you got to be careful where a lot of people are talking about this card with mill, which makes a lot of sense. Except for you're forgetting two important facts if you play mill with this deck. Number one, Yondu's a real thing, right? Yondu is one of the most commonly found cards in mill, and it removes the lowest cost card, therefore a low power card, more often than not, from the deck. So if you play Yondu in that build, you are then targeting this card to be a turn 6 card, not a turn 4 card, because of how you're progressively milling the deck down to nothing. This card is going to be very wonky for a lot of people because they're going to see statistics. They're going to see different content creators have different luck. And confidently, I'm going to say that this card will be 10 times better in Conquest and tournaments than it will be in ladder. And the reason being is card trackers. Because by round 3 of a Conquest match, or round 3 of a match against some other opponent, you know quite a bit about their deck more often than not, because the trackers take care of, hey, this is all the cards that are in there. And then, oh, look, it's the 4th round. We know 10 of the cards already. Here are the cards already on the board. Here's what it could probably be left in the deck. And that math, making that math easier, makes it easier to play this card on turn 4 and turn 5, because it's higher risk, obviously, when you put it on turn 4 and turn 5. You want this to be, in a mill deck specifically, a very final turn card more often than not. And I think that there's a lot more to this card than people give it credit for, which is why I think the best home, honestly, is going to be a Darkhawk deck, because you have a better chance of controlling the RNG of what those top 3 cards are by utilizing specifically this. The other card that I don't think a lot of people remember is going to be a very good card with this is Silver Sable, because that's a turn 5 combination right there, because you hit the top card of the deck for -2 and you play this down on turn 5 at the same time. You now already have a 2-point advantage in your math, therefore upping your chances of getting this card to do its thing. I think there's a
Sage list too. Yeah, because you got Ravonna. Not Ravonna, sorry. You got Cassandra Nova, right? Hitting all the card, giving them the negatives, right? That also works out in your favor, and Silver Sable. So yeah, I agree with you on that. Continue.
Yeah, 100%.
Definitely one guest called that. If SDG called the Sage, Silver Sable was one guest called. That was definitely one I regret not jumping up on and getting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We were really, me and you were both like, Silver Sable.
Yeah.
Best card of the season.
It's actually a really good card. Silver Sable is actually
it's still a great card. It's still a great card.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. You're right. Yeah,
it is.
It's definitely popping. So if you see Sage and you see Silver Sable, those are the 2 cards. If you're just coming up, definitely grab those cards.
Oh, 100% grab them. But the shiny object, like I think Aries is going to be very good, but you have to be careful to not just take a favorite content creator deck. Really understand what you're doing to your opponent to figure out the condition of, am I in a good chance to hit that 412 when all is said and done? And if you're not going to get that +6, is it even worth playing the card?
Right. What was your rating? I'm sorry. Did you give it a rating?
I do think it's going to be a platinum card. But I think its numbers will not reflect that because people will just roll the dice and say, here we go. And I mean,
sometimes it won't pay out.
Right. This is obviously it's a searcher card. It's a mill card. But the sleeper deck that this will be incredibly good in is going to be a hybrid Affliction Darkhawk
and
deck.
Darkhawk. Yeah.
That's going to be the new meta deck. Watch. Calling it now.
Yeah.
Okay.
We could also go to Mill with but not Baron too, but the other card that pulls 3 cards. What the hell's the name of it now? It came at 2/6. What the hell am I thinking about, guys?
Maximus?
Okay, say that again.
Maximus, yes.
There we go.
It pulls 2 cards.
Maximus.
Yeah.
Maximus, Crystal, right? You could try, well, not Crystal, Maximus more so anything. All right, so there you go. We got Platinum, Double Platinum, and Double Gold. Let's see how it goes. Then, of course, we're going to dive into what we feel about the current state of the meta in Marvel Snap. Now, I think the meta is in one of the best places it's been in a long time, and along with Hela being good. Most times when Hela is good, the meta is shit. But because no one wants to play on easy mode, right? Because nobody wants to play on easy mode, nobody's playing Hela. So the meta, I think, is in a phenomenal place, and it's been a long time since I've seen so many different lists. Because now you have the Doom 2099 lists, right? You have the Scream lists, right? You have the Hela lists that are all different, right? Everybody play those lists differently. Well, Scream, you keep the same cards, but Doom 2099 and Hela and, the Sages, the Surfers, the Sarahs, the Mr. Negatives, like everybody's playing different things, and every list has its ups and downs. And I think that's the best part of the meta that's right now. Guess, how do you feel about the meta? What is your take?
Overall, it is a very healthy meta. It is very widespread in the sense of everybody else. And what I mean by that is the largest content creators are your top 10% players more often than not. They're in, constantly competing for top 100, top position and all, etc. And you hear a lot of move bounce being the most popular deck in the top 10% more often than not. And I want to call out that deck is good, but incredibly difficult to operate. And there's a reason that deck works well in top 10%. It's because those players are in the top 10%. They understand the math, the movement, the mechanics, the little tiny things that can mess with a synergy or a movement, they've got all those mechanics down at an advanced level. Therefore, they can take on that deck, right? If you're a brand new player to Marvel Rivals, you don't immediately run into Black Panther. Same exact idea with move bounce. And I want to call it out because it's constantly being talked about in the larger part of the community. And then a lot of people go play it, and then they tank the win rate. If you look anywhere from rank 70 up through the bottom half of Infinite, it's nowhere near as good. But outside of that conversation, if you're a average Joe, like we are for the most part, we are more like you, the average player, where our abilities, we know things, but we don't know everything, and we fuck things up all the time, and we're human. I think this is very much a 4-cost meta. I think that you look at Anti-Venom, you look at Galacta, you look at even Stegron from that position at 4/7 is incredibly strong. Wiccan, like these are core pieces and components to most of the major decks right now. Oh, and also Moonstone in the Iron Hand decks, which are also in that conversation too. This is very much so a turn for like meta. And that is the most important turn in the game at this moment. If you don't have a way to beat those cards, you're not able to compete right now. And the numbers confirm that more often than not. So I think that because of that, it's very widespread. But what that also has created is a want for former archetypes to be revived. Like, when was the last time you saw a truly relevant destroy deck? When was the last time you saw...
That's been a minute.
Right?
That's been a minute.
When was the last time you saw a truly relevant Thanos deck, right? When was the last time you saw a truly relevant destroyer deck? Because that's different than destroy. You know, this destroyer.
They're using destroyer in different type of ways now than destroy like targeted. You know what I mean? It's
right.
Different
high Evo. When was the last time you saw a truly relevant high Evo deck? You know,
that's been a
they're
while.
trying, but nothing. Yeah.
Zoo, like these classic decks want to be revisited and I think that because we live in this 4-cost meta, there's an opportunity for those specific types of cards. Patriot decks is another one. Really seeing that like shine. I don't know if I want Galactus necessarily to come back, but like
I do.
I have seen a lot of it. I'm not gonna lie. Like a lot of games are running Galactus right now, but a lot of people are running discard Bullseye right now. So
yeah, that's why they're playing Galactus. So
yeah, because they know they've got the time. This is the week to do that. You've got the time. You're waiting to build your combo, and before you can make anything major happen, here, let me just disrespect your surroundings. Explosion.
Correct.
I think that the next 2 OTAs are going to be very important because I would hope that Second Dinner acknowledges that these 4-cost cards that are so incredibly strong that are building the top half of the meta, they either need to be worked on a little bit or the other direction, which is what I would prefer, which is building up the bottom half. Let's get another reason for a good card to bring Destroy back. Let's get another reason for Patriot to be relevant again. Let's get another reason for High Evo to come back into the meta. You know what I mean? Like, I think the meta's in a very good place, but we can make it better.
Excuse me.
Okay, that's fair. Sino. Yeah. What's your take on the meta right now? I know you haven't played that much, so I want to hear your take too.
Yeah, at new gig, so it's been a little rough, and I worked overnight. So it's when I get home in the morning, it's daylight, and I go to sleep.
Been there.
But yeah, it's rough. But what I think what Guest said is fair. I do see a lot of variety in the meta. I see a lot of people playing a lot of different things. I think that's because there's so many cards now in the game from when we started this journey that you can do so much more now. Like that's why I think the other lists I guess we're talking about have depleted so much, like the High Evos and the Patriots and the regular Destroy. And it's everything is so hybridish now. Like that sounded like British, but hybrid now. So it's like it's so much variety that you can mix and match, and I could take this card and put it with this and this, and like, you know what I mean? You're not going to see. Yeah, you're not going to see anything really super traditional anymore. In my opinion, to my knowledge, it's only when you're coming up that you're really sticking to those traditional styles of reputation of winning, right? Like those traditional meta decks that people played back in the day. That's the only time, because you're trying to pull off these combinations to get wins. That's when I feel like that's when your journey is going to be more traditional. And then as your journey goes on and you Series 3 complete and you get all those other cards and you have everything, you have variety, it's a little harder to just be traditional because you have so many avenues that you can tap into and so many different ways you can set up a card list. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get the same, the traditional stuff is always going to deplete and nobody's really going to be running the same. Like we were talking about not too long ago, Devil Dino coming back and how refreshing that shit was. You know what I mean? Like, oh, Victoria Hand brought back Devil Dino because nobody was fucking playing Devil Dino. Everybody was like, we moved on. Everything else came out. We want to try. We have different combinations with different stuff we'd rather do. You know what I mean? Sage is a fantastic card. We didn't think so until, we played it and SDG was raving about it. And then, it's still a great card, but you don't really see it as much now because it's like everybody's moving on to that new thing. It's the popularity aspect of things, right? So the new shiny toy is always going to be the best thing to play, right? So that's why I think certain things deplete. I agree with Guess also in the fact that Second Edition needs to start making cards to accentuate these classic card lists to make them more valuable now. Maybe some new cards that really give it that seasoning and give it that, that oomph now, that punch that really, brings the whole card list up. So I think the state of the meta is fine. It's great. We don't have those major toxic stuff anymore. The Arishams that were getting run like crazy isn't getting ran like crazy anymore. The Lokis isn't. Yeah, the Alliance are damn near done. The Lokis aren't a problem anymore. The Blobs got killed. You know what I mean? So I don't think there's any room for too many complaints right now, aside from one or two things we would tweak here and there. I think the meta's in a good spot. I think we're in one of those sweet spots, that we used to have before Arisham and Loki came out.
I want to throw one thing out there too with this, because I think a lot of people don't realize this. The top 4 most popular cards right now, 3 out of the 4 of them came out in the last 3 weeks. So Iron Patriot, Victoria Hand, and Moonstone. It is what you are most likely, if you're Infinite, for example, it is what you are most likely to see because it's, shiny toys. The problem is all of them, since the release of Moonstone, now have a negative win rate.
Yeah, exactly.
Moonstone, it became like too much of a cornerstone for that deck. And I think now, like retrospectively, I was telling people, hey, if you only get Moonstone if you're getting Iron Patriot and Victoria Hand. But at the same time, now it's kind of like, well, you didn't need to.
Yeah, exactly.
You didn't need to. If we were
fine with Iron Hand,
Moonstone. So it just became a little too much.
Because you have other avenues you can go down, right? You don't.
We spoke about Moonstone. It's a card, man. I don't know. Moonstone is not.
It's a card.
Moonstone and Bullseye. They both just
put that on a shirt. It's a card.
It's a card. I'm not even impressed with the both of them right now. So they need some costs or change adjustments right now. Both of those cards it is what it is for me. But for those who are listening or watching, if you guys are looking for classic lists that people still play, especially content creators, come to my channel. I'm Infinite, Sunspot, Jessica Jones, Kang. I still play those classic lists with the new cards. Come have a good time. I'll show you how to do it. Super fun. Come on down. You guys have a blast. But I do agree with both Sino and Guess. A lot of people aren't playing those classic cards anymore. Who wants to play Sunspot anymore? Nobody does that. You're playing Nebula now, right? You're doing all those other things. So I totally agree with you guys, but I still do because it's fun. And I like the nostalgia parts of Snap. Now, talking to Snap and the nostalgic part, let's talk about their future and our thoughts about Marvel Snap going forward. So with all the stuff that's happened and them making the changes they need to keep the game, in its best form that it can be, and not worry about the publisher and government madness, etc. Snap is taking the proper things to go forward and make those things happen. So I think Snap future, based on their mission to go out there and fix all the things that people have been complaining about for the past year, right? Whether it be card acquisition, whether it be, the splits remember the Christmas splits and all the stuff we had going on there, whether it be the monetization. Like, a lot of people aren't talking about that, but now with a new publisher, monetization might change, might be in a better place or a worse place. We're going to find out. Either way, those are things we have to think about. And I think if Snap can capitalize on this mission of reintroducing themselves as the best card game and most fun in the mobile space, I think they can pull it off. I think they will be in a proper place by the end of Q2. That's just my feel and my take on it. There's no inside information. I'm not employed. I've for the past 2 years now, a year and a half, I have not been second in employee of the month. That's all guess. So what I'm saying is all
get out of here.
So I feel by the end of Q2,
maybe not employee of the month, but definitely an employee.
they will shock and amaze us, and I'm really hoping for that because for it being down and it being up right now, and people, the way they're talking about the game, and some people aren't happy, and even some of the content creators, some of the big content creators are not really putting out that much content for the game as much, or even playing the game or streaming it longer than they used to. Only when drops are here, kind of hit Snap like, and that's not cool. I mean, not to say they can't do that. I just feel Snap needs some more love, and that's why we got Snap on our back. Right. So that's my take on the future. I think it's going to be good. Come the end of Q2, we should be looking at a bright future. If not, then disregard everything I said. Cena, how do you feel about Snap's future?
I was disregarded what I said. It died. No. Snap's future, man. I think it's going to be bright. And the reason I'm saying this is because we all got a little taste of what it looked like when they took our Snap away from us, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Everybody who was saying, oh, Snap this, Snap that, Snap. The minute they took that Snap away from you, people were so irate. Right. Yeah, people were irate. I can't do content. Streamers were like, I can't do content. The same streamers that were like, this is dying, were the same streamers like, I can't do content. I can't get my videos out. The same people who were complaining about the meta and this is bullshit and I can't win and the resources and blah, blah, were the same people who were upset. They were like this. They wanted a Snap hit. They were hurting. Yeah. I get it. I understand because I was one of those people. I was hurting. I wanted my Snap, even though I was working.
But you never said Snap was dying, though.
I never said Snap was dying. No, I'm not one of the people that was saying that, but I'm one of the people that was hurting when they took our Snap away from us. I definitely wanted my hit of Snap. But that tells me that people really do love this game. I think they were getting a little burnt out, and I think they were afraid to simply just put the game down for a second, you know what I mean? And get they were just constantly putting themselves through that. And instead of just taking a break for a second, just breathe first, put it down and then pick the game back up and feel how refreshed you can be and how fun it can be, and forget about the anxiety part of it and the frustration part of it. And just remember to start having fun again, because when they took it away from us and we got it back, we started playing and we were like, oh my God, this is fun. We remembered how we felt when launch happened or beta happened. And you remember how that gave you that fresh feeling. So I think that now that everybody's reminded of this and that new players, and don't get it twisted, new players, like you said, you can't get it currently, right? You can't go into the App Store and get Snap currently.
Not in the US, no.
What that says to me is like, it's kind of got like this bad boy game reputation now. Like this is a game that's out there that people can't get. And if you have to know that drives people crazy more than anything. You know what I mean? Exclusive shit is what people want. This is what brands are built off of. Gucci, Prada, it's expensive as fuck, so it makes it exclusive, right? And they make certain amount of pieces, so it makes people want it more, right? So that's what I think it's doing. Marvel Snap is doing. I think it's a little bit of a blessing in disguise, this ban. You know, as we were talking earlier, it's a blessing in disguise. But also, I think it's putting Second Dinner on their fucking toes. I think it's like, yo, we just had a fucking ban. People can't get our game currently. We got to do what we got to do to get this, one, turned around, and two, figure out the things about our game that may not necessarily be the best, and let's tweak those things and get those fixed. As you were saying, Ken, card acquisition. The minute they fix that and they figure that out, I feel like is going to be tremendous for the people who, when Snap comes back into the App Store, come and get the game and want to start the game because of they're hearing about all this. Yeah. I think that is going to be tremendous, because that's going to lead to a pleasurable experience for our new people coming in, which leads to the growth of the game, right? It leads to the health of the game, which is great. I just need, we need this, the Snap community needs Second Dinner to get their stuff together as far as these things, like, let's say, like what observer mode. I'm sorry, what is it called?
Spectator mode.
Spectators, yes, that's right. But you know, if it doesn't, it doesn't. But something new, something fresh to come in, and give us. You know what I mean? How much do we all love? What was that? The high voltage. We all love that. You know what I mean? If that was something that was more concurrent, you know what I mean, and that was something that was maybe a mode, that would be great. I'm interested to see with this new publishing relationship, will it be good for the game? Will it be bad for the game? Will it change the game? Will it not change the game? Like, will they improve things? Will they put a person? Will they not? Will they change it for the worse? That's all in question. You know, that is a very unknown. But other than that, you know, I think the future is bright if they do stay on their toes and make the adjustments that they need to make. That's my opinion. But I think we all love Snap. I think we all still want to really play this game. It just, we need these things to change and we need to adapt and create balance, as this game is always saying, right? That's what they're always, balance, right? So let's get that in. Let's get a little bit more in there in these certain areas.
Yeah, let's keep them on their toes, like 2K did to Madden. I'm with you on that.
Yeah. Well, 2K did to
Madden right. And it only got hot because 2K was coming in. You know what I mean? So, Pokemon is in no shape or fashion a 2K to Madden. To Snap. But
Snap, it doesn't have that exciting factor to it other than opening packs. You know what I mean? Other than that, and getting the card that really pretty, like I get that, but Snap has that cool factor of it. They just need to improve on the aspects we were talking about. You know what I mean? And as soon as card acquisition and these things are fixed, and I'm not gonna lie, we need fix on resources. We need to, and I'm glad they fixed the tokens and the spotlights. But we need tokens in the regular track to be brought up too, or something. If you're getting, I don't know what they're gonna do with this whole card acquisition. If even we will even have tokens, I have no idea. Like I don't know what they're gonna do. You know what I mean? So like I don't know what this new publishing company comes in and says what type of currency.
Give us gems now. We don't need that anymore.
It's gonna be fucking bubs. Like who knows? We don't know what's gonna happen. You know what I mean? Like we don't fucking know. Like. So it's
right.
Other than
shit.
If they fix these things, we'll be just fine.
Yeah, I'm with you. I guess your take, man. Damn. Guess the correct here. Oh boy. Oh boy. Speechless? Oh no.
No. Well, I think no. I think I am going to just simply reiterate my prior mantra, which is I don't know everything, but I do know a little bit of a lot. Yeah. And because of that, I'll simply say Snap will be fine. And that's all I'm going to say.
There we go.
There it goes. You guys heard it here first.
That was right there. Woo.
Will be
I got chills.
Fine.
Let's go. I got chills.
All right. Yes, right. That's right. All right, guys. That's fantastic. And speaking of how fine Snap will be, if you guys really want to see how fine Snap will be, make sure you guys hang out on the Power On Gaming channel February 1st and February 2nd when we have our first The Crown tournament hosted by Power On Gaming. It is going to be a phenomenal time. We have Parry and Cena on Saturday casting some of the matches. It might be one of your matches, guys. Of course, it is free to get in. It's a $500 prize pool. Free to get in, $500 prize pool. You can win some good money just playing the game you enjoy and love.
That's right.
And have some of your favorite content creators cast over it. So on day one, we'll have a couple of rounds. You don't lose and get out. It's none of that madness. You're going to play your games. If you are now part of the top 8, come February 2nd, yours truly and Snap's royalty, the Binks, will be casting the top 8 matches on Sunday. So that means the Super Bowl Sunday before the Super Bowl.
What?
That's right. Myself and Binks will be handling, and we could be casting your match, guys. You'll be casting your championship match for that wonderful prize pool. So make sure you guys come hang out. Make sure you guys sign up. We'll leave a link down below for the Crown happening February 1st and February 2nd. Yes, the date did change. If you guys are wondering why, don't worry about why. It's already done. The ban is over.
I'm sure they knew.
We had to make changes. I think we picked the best weekend. It is the Super Bowl before the Super Bowl.
Let's go.
All right. Yeah, that was fantastic, guys. I really appreciate the time. I know it's been a lot this week. I know we spoke a lot about a lot of things today. I really appreciate you guys listening and coming back and being here. Our 88th episode. It has been a full 11 to almost 12 months with us 3 at the helm. I did start this out in the beta days right before launch with 2 other gentlemen you guys may or may not know. Mr. Valentine, the best mustache in Marvel Rivals now, because that's what I see him playing. Mm-hmm. And of course, my friend who, alongside Kawa and myself, put the first in-person tournament together
Loot Muncher, baby. Now, right? Yeah, man.
Yeah, the Loot Muncher are back. It's going to be a good time. So we did start off things with Loot and Val, and it quickly transformed to what you guys see now. So next week's episode, our 1 year anniversary, we're going to celebrate. We're going to have a good time. So when you guys come and hang out, we're going to be a fun time. I promise you. All right. So until then, peace.
Cino, am I right though? Does he not speak like ChatGPT?
Definitely. It's like a space.
Just like the context of what he says.
Yeah.
When he's, like you said, when he's filling, he's riffing, he's vamping.
Correct.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm like, he's thinking of things to add in there.